Hey guys, what is up? We are back, and today, that's right, we're doing more mods to the Jeep. So, a little bit has changed since the last time you guys have seen it. I have it in off-road mode, but the vehicle is lowered. We got the 22-inch Avant-Garde wheels, full wrap, everything completed on it, looking good as ever. And one thing that's really common on these 5.7 Hemis, or Hemis in general, is you get the notorious Hemi tick, which is basically the bolts break on the exhaust manifolds. So today we are doing a set of hooker headers for it. You can see a nice little hooker stamp on there. And we're doing a set of high performance coil packs. There is no real videos that I could find on doing headers on this Jeep. So that's a big reason why I'm doing this video, kind of give you guys a heads up. I've already disconnected the battery, got the lift positioned under it, ready to rock. On a lot of the forums, what I could tell, what we gotta do is we gotta remove this whole unit right here, the ECU, the fuse box, all that's gotta come out so we can get access into here. The air box, everything's gotta come out so we can get access into there. So that's what I'm gonna work on first. We'll do a quick time lapse of that. We'll be right back. All right, so we got those out. As you know, I had the aftermarket K&N. It's really easy. As soon as I moved that tube, that just popped up and out. Fuse block was a little bit harder. You have a 13mm nut on the power cable that comes into the fuse block you need to pull. I recommend then pulling the block itself out with 4 little clips that are there, undoing all these, and then pulling that out. I tried pulling the whole assembly out at once. Can't do that, discovered that. So I recommend then there's 3 more 10mm nuts for the actual holding bracket. The motor's still a little bit warm, so while it cools down, these coil packs that I have here on each side, for each side, I got some high performance ones from Rip Supercharger. I'm just going to throw them on really quick. Super easy to do. It's the 2 bolts and a plug for each one. Going to knock that out really quick while the motor cools down a little bit more, so that I don't burn myself too bad while I do these headers. So we'll knock that out and be right back. All right, so we got all those changed out to the Rip Supercharged coil packs. Now, they've done this and then dynoed it. With the 5.7, they've averaged about 20 horsepower gain just in these coil packs. With the 392 Jeep, you get about 30 horsepower gain just in these. One of these days, I might be doing a bigger throttle body too. I don't know. That's a very common upgrade for these, but yeah, so hopefully the exhaust cooled off enough now. I'm going to go ahead and take off this heat shield. I don't know if you can see it, but it should just be 2 or 3 10mm bolts on both sides to get them out. And once I get that out, then we'll come back and I'll kind of get it up on the lift, or get all the top bolts out first, then get it up on the lift and show you the stuff from below. All right, so a little bit of a change of plans. I got all 4 of those heat shield bolts out. These came out with the heat shield, which has me kind of afraid that they're broke off in the block. If so, this is going to be a really hard job because I'll have to get up there and I'll have to try to get the bolts out of the block. I'm hoping that, I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm hoping that if they are, they're deep enough that I can get another bolt in to seal it up. But I think that's the culprit of my hemi tick. I think from the heating and contracting of these heat shields and how they bolt to the head studs and everything else, I think that's a big playing factor of why these always break. But as you can see, well, maybe you can't, but up in here, the heat shield right up in there, I got this bottom bolt out. But to get access to the top bolt, I'm gonna wanna pull these mid pipes. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this skid plate, and then drop the mid pipes out, which has 2 bolts on the flange up there. You can kind of see one there. The other one's way up here. We'll have to get long extensions and knock those out. But we'll get both of those out. That way we have better access because we got to pull them anyways. So we'll go ahead and get started on that right now. All right, now that was quite a bit of work. One thing I do recommend is the seam here. You pull it apart before you unhook it from the manifold. Save you a whole lot of trouble. But let's get this swapped around. You can see we got one, two, three, 4 lowers. I think 4 uppers. See the back ones are broken. I'm thinking they're broken right at the stupid thing, so that might be an issue for me. But we're going to go ahead and get the lower ones pulled on both. That one, the heat shield's just in there, but it'll be the same thing, lowers and uppers. We'll go ahead and get the lower ones pulled, and hopefully these broken ones that were giving me the famous hemi tick aren't broken off inside the head where I gotta drill and tap them out. So wish me luck, and I'll let you know what happens. All right, guys, so what I feared happened is what happened. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I'll try to get the camera up in here. You see these 2 bolts broken off nicely in the head, unfortunately. So we're going to use an extractor set and an angle drill, try to get those out. I'm praying, hoping that I can get those out. If not, I'm in some big trouble and the exhaust leak's not going to go away. So wish me luck, and I'm going to get working on this. All right, guys, so we got the bolts out and the new headers in. As you can see them right there, nice shiny set of hooker headers. It's kind of difficult. The driver's side especially, there's really not much room to move. Make sure you get all your header bolts, exhaust manifold bolts tightened down pretty snug. They recommend after a couple heat cycles go retighten them. Honestly, with how limited space is in this thing, I'm not going to do that. Should be just fine. I went over them 3 times, so should be good. One thing I do recommend anytime you work with exhaust, always use anti-seize on your bolts. With how hot they get and how cool they get, it's just really important. See, I used a easy out kit. You can see this, it kind of drilled, had 2 of those in there, broken off. I was able to get them both out pretty easily. Now we're going to go ahead and put the cats back on, bolt them up, tighten them up, and then put the cat back system, bolt it back up, and then we'll lower it down, button everything up top up, and then we'll give it the first fire. All right guys, finally got the bottom end done, cat's on, headers are on, everything's buttoned up down there. Now it's just to kind of go in reverse method. Got to mount the fuse box holder, and then mount the fuses, CPU, or ECU, engine control module, and then over here the air intake, and then reconnect the battery, which is under the passenger seat, and then that should be it. This has been quite the process. So far about 6.5 hours. So let me go ahead and knock this out real quick, then we'll start it up, make sure there's no exhaust leaks. There shouldn't be, made sure everything was super tight. So let's finish this out and then I'll show you what it sounds like. All right, it is all done. Everything's running. You don't hear no loud tick from the exhaust. Means everything's sealed up nicely. Burned off a little bit of smoke from burning the oils. So all in all, good job. Like I said, about 6.5 hours or so. Honestly, I wouldn't try it unless you're a little bit mechanically inclined. There's a lot of real tight places, real weird angles to get bolts and screws into, kind of a pain in the butt. But if you're looking to do this at home, you're definitely going to need jack stands, and you're going to need the ability to get up and down the lot, because you need to go from top of the motor to bottom of the motor a lot. But yeah, another job well done. Until next time, we'll see you later.